What's up guys, macadii here, bringing the second battle of our current RU session. We're against a guy called bbbBLOB. And looking at his team, one thing I can definitely see is Shrimpy is going to put in a lot of work. Because it can hit that super effectively, that super effectively, that super effectively, and that super effectively. So if I can get Trick Room up, Shrimpy is definitely going to be putting in a lot of work. Now, in terms of what I think is going to be leading, I do have a feeling that it is going to be the Cobalion, because that's sort of the most common lead normally, that I can see from his team at least. So, it is a little bit tricky to know what to lead off with, because Ding Dong may not be able to perform particularly well, especially if he has the taunt, which is why I'm kind of leaning towards leading off with Shrimpy here. And I don't know, because he might have the Volt Switch. That's the only problem that I can see with that plan. And I guess I take a Volt Switch relatively well, but I don't think it's worth risking it from there. So I think we're going to go off with Ding Dong, just because I do need to keep Shrimpy around. He does lead off with a Banette here. Okay, so we are definitely not outspeeding to start with, but we can still set up the Trick Room, because if we can set up the Trick Room, we can get our Stealth Rocks up, even if we can't explode on this, and it doesn't do any damage. It's still, I think it's still worth it in my opinion, because it means we can get a free switch out, most likely into maybe Blob. Well, we'll just have to see. He does go for the knockoff here, knocking off our normal gem. As we go for the Trick Room, we can live another one of those. He might go for the Shadow Claw though, that's the only thing. But we're going to risk the Stealth Rocks here, because I don't particularly want to switch anything else in on a Shadow Claw or anything like that. He does have priority, so unfortunately we can't go out into any physical attackers. We're going to have to try and damage him on the special side. He goes to the Will-O-Wisp here, as I get my rocks up, so I think we're just going to go for a Gyro Ball for damage, as I'm not too sure what he's going to be going for. I know we are burnt and everything, but we do kind of want him to kill us. And luckily, Burn is going to take us down here, leaving us with 2 turns of Trick Room left. So we can go out into Blob here, because Magic Guard means we don't have to worry about that. Everything gets hit with, the combination of a Shadow Ball and either a Psyshock or another move should be able to KO pretty much every Mon that he's got on his team. So this is probably our best bet. So we're going to go for the Shadow Ball here, because that should one hit kill the Banette. He may end up sacrificing this with a Destiny Bond, but I'm not too convinced, and even if this does go down, I'm not too worried. He goes to the Cotton Guard. Now that was a very, very questionable play, I must admit. That's very weird, considering he knew I was obviously a special attacker, because who on this earth runs physical Reuniclus? So I'm not too sure why he decided to go for that, but fair enough. It managed to let me take out one of the most threatening mons on his team, I would say, and also I can now get a good hit off on something else as well, whatever wants to come in. He goes out into the Prinplup here. I'm very tempted just to stay in, because there's not a huge amount this guy can do to me. So I'm going to go for the Psyshock here, because I have a feeling it will give us the opportunity to set up another Trick Room after this. And if we can get another Trick Room going, I think we got a mini Reuniclus sweep, which would be absolutely excellent. As I said, I think this is probably specially defensive, looking at that. With a physically defensive Tangrowth, that does make them more sense. Oh, even a physically defensive Cobalion. That is the only real special wall on his team, so this should still do quite a really good amount of damage. As he sets up the Stealth Rocks here, we can go for the Trick Room, because there's absolutely nothing this guy can do to us. And we can get a bit of a blob sweep going on here, as he sets up his rocks and goes to the defog. I don't know what this guy's doing. We can go for another Psyshock here, because it hits everything pretty much neutrally, and we can always kill the Delphox after. So I'm not really sure what his plan was there, but fair enough. I don't know. So going for the Psyshock is definitely the best play from here, because even if he goes out into one of the physical walls as well, we can still go for a special move after that, as we're able to KO the Prinplup. So we're sitting pretty comfortably here. We've got 3 more turns, and I'm pretty sure we can one-shot pretty much all the mons he's got now. Cobalion we can KO with a Focus Blast. Shadow Ball, I think a Psyshock would KO a Flygon. Considering, if you guys saw Reuniclus in the last session, it managed to one-shot a defensive Chansey with Psyshock, which I haven't checked the calcs on that, but he may not have been running physically defensive thinking about it. But it was still quite impressive. To one-shot a Chansey is definitely, a sticker for Reuniclus, because there's not many Mons that can do that. But I'm not too sure what he's going to be leading off with, but I'm pretty confident to say that we probably do have this match. I know we've only got Ragdoll left once Blob goes down to set up Trick Room, but the rest of my Mons are just so bulky that I have a really, really good chance of taking that. He goes out into Flygon. Now, I'm sure a Psyshock should be able to kill that Flygon from there. Yeah, it really should do. And even if he's Scarfed, a U-turn is not going to be doing enough to KO me. He may be banded, but I really doubt that. They normally do run the Scarf set. And outside of maybe Scarf Delphox, that's probably the only other potential Scarfer on his team. So I'm pretty confident that we can KO this guy with one shot. Yeah, I can't really see how we wouldn't. But I don't know. But so far with the team, I am really liking it. It's a lot of fun. I do absolutely love Trick Room when I get to make Trick Room teams and things like that. They are a lot of fun. They're always I find they're very anti-meta, which works quite well. If you can start setting up Trick Room, obviously very offensive and scary teams. Okay, so he does love that. But very scary teams like this can be sort of dealt with really, really easily under Trick Room. And it does mess up a lot of people's strategy, especially hyper-offensive teams. Because if you can get a Trick Room up, I know it doesn't last long, but you can do a huge amount of damage in those 4 turns. Which they can't really do anything about, which works really, really well. So yeah, that I must admit, yeah, it's a really, really good tactic in my opinion. So he goes out into the Cobalion. We can just go for the Focus Blast here. Hopefully we can hit. If we do miss, it would be annoying, but it wouldn't be too bad. As I said, we still have plenty of potential for sweeping later on. But it would be nice if we could get this KO on here, because Cobalion's probably one of the biggest stops to my team. I guess we still got Chloritzer, but Ragdoll definitely doesn't appreciate it, especially if it's got knockoff. I know it's not got the knockoff boost, but it's still going to be doing quite a decent amount of damage to us. Gramble, I guess, handles it okay. Any steel moves, though, Iron Heads and things like that, I'm not going to be taking those particularly well. And Scavalier, I guess Scavalier takes it pretty well. But I don't know how much we're going to be able to do back to it. So it would be ideal if we can hit this Focus Blast right here. But he's definitely taking his time with these turns. So I'm not really too sure what his plan is right now. But we shall see. We hit the Focus Blast and that's a one-shot. That's absolutely brilliant. So we have the potential to one-shot one more Pokemon from here as well. Unless he makes some clever plays to stall out this last turn. I think, to be honest, regardless of what he goes into, I'm quite keen to Shadow Ball. Just because it hits everything neutrally, and I could definitely KO the Delphox from there. But he's running out of time now on the timer, so he definitely has to make some quite fast plays from here, because he's definitely running out of time. But I think Shadow Ball might be the way to go. He goes out into the Tangrowth. I think Shadow Ball is the way to go, because I want a guaranteed hit, and I think that's probably the best play, I would say, because yeah. That's still a decent amount of damage. I know he does outspeed us the next turn, but we can set up Trick Room again, and there is a chance. How much did Shadow Ball do? 59%. Well, a Focus Blast should be able to KO this guy from here, so I think we're going to risk it, because we still got loads of Trick Room left. Even if we do miss, we can go out into Escavalier, and we do KO him, so Blob is putting in a huge amount of work in this team. Absolutely brilliant. I'm really pleased that Reuniclus is still down on RU. I know there's a chance he may be going back up, but for the minute he's putting in work, and I really, really don't begrudge him for that. So in terms of his next switch, I think we just literally got a sweep going here, because Delphox one-shots. We can one-shot the Delphox and we can one-shot the Flygon. So yeah, it's pretty much GG from here. It goes out to the Delphox. We can just go for a Shadow Ball, because we should outspeed, even if this is, I don't know, maybe if this is Assault Vest, but I've never seen an Assault Vest Delphox, so I very much doubt that it is, but this may be the first time. I don't know. So we'll go for the Shadow Ball, and that doesn't KO, so I'm quite surprised at that, I must admit, but he's Life Orb as well, so I'm surprised how little that did. but oh well, there's not a huge amount we can do about that. But it does mean we can go out into Ragdoll here. That's probably the best bet. I guess Shrimpy. Yeah, we'll get a Shrimpy sweep going because we can KO the Delphox and then we can KO the Flygon from here. So it's definitely GG from here. So we can go for, yeah, just go for a Scald. And say finally for managing to KO the Reuniclus there. But yeah, Reuniclus under Trick Room with Life Orb just absolutely wrecks. But it is finding that opportunity to set up Trick Room that's the challenging thing about this team. So he does end up forfeiting. So that's another win with this team. It's doing absolutely brilliantly so far. So I hope you guys enjoyed the battle, and I will see you guys at the next one. Macadii out.